Okay, it's Wednesday the 2nd of September and we're doing quite a lot of these updates at the moment with James because there's so much happening and I don't know how the poor guy is keeping track of what's going on here. So he's going to give us a little update first of all on the sales of season tickets and the numbers available basically, isn't it, James?
Yeah, so we took the season tickets offline yesterday and that was to allow, I was going to say me, but mainly Christine to start phoning fans who bought a season ticket and membership for the main stand, and to basically start allocating those seats. You've probably seen when we've been to Marine or last night at Warrington, it's pretty much a free-for-all for the seats. And given the numbers that we're dealing with, we simply can't have that. We need them when they turn up to know exactly what seats they're sitting in. And I did previously in an interview a couple of months ago, Rob, we said that if you had the reserve seats from last season, we would keep that for as long as we possibly can. Apologies, that's had to go out the window with the guidance we've been given and the protocols that we're having to work to. Pretty much we will try to keep you as close to your seat, but if you don't have a season ticket yet, you have to get it now to get your seats. To give you an example of what we have left, in section A, which is the section with the S written on it, we've got 23 seats available. That's all we have. Into section B, which is the one that has the F, we have 2 seats available in there. And in the C, which has C written on it, we've only got 12. Now the reason there's slightly more in that section is we have 2 methods that we can operate with. There's method 1, which is allocating every second row for fans, or method 2, which is every single row. So if you have 4 fans in this row and 4 beside them with a gap in the middle, in the row behind you can actually have people sitting in that gap, so there's nobody directly in front. So because section C is so congested, we're actually going to use a split model and we'll go for method 2 in that section with method 1 across the rest. If we're inundated, then we will move section A and section B with the S and the F on it, and we'll go to the other method with that just to get more people in, but we still have to keep that safe distance there. So pretty much if you want a seat in this main stand, you have to get on the phone and get your tickets. The tickets will go back online today, but only for the terrace, and we'll put an announcement out when people can phone for tickets in the main stand, because we have to allocate you a seat directly.
So there's still terracing seats, terracing places.
There are plenty. The Jack car isn't anywhere near capacity yet, and I don't think the Popular will ever get near that. In the main, people have been very receptive when we phoned them up and explained the moves. I think we've had 1 or 2 complaints from it. As we've said before, this isn't something that we want to do, but we have to make sure when people turn up on a match day, they know where they're going, they're in their seats, and that's theirs for the rest of the season.
I think we've seen, haven't we, at Marine, even within the ground, it's difficult to police, isn't it? We've got people standing in groups together. You know, we've got to be careful of that, haven't we? Because it looked pretty crowded at Warrington last night.
Yeah, it was people were standing almost shoulder to shoulder behind the barriers. We will have it marked out sort of around the ground where people can stand. Section parts, for example, the Jack car will say 15 people in this section, 25 in there, and we will monitor that and try to keep it to that. We are going to try and increase the capacity slightly. It was Robert McQueen during the Walkabout Wednesday last week had asked why we weren't going to use directly standing against the perimeter fence. We've taken that on board, we've counted it out, so we will be able to increase the capacity, but it will literally just be 1 person across the barrier. We won't be doing 2 or 3 deep because we need the paddocks for the one-way system to operate around the stadium.
These clubs at the low level have had the opportunity to sort of try games out. Are we going to have that opportunity to put a couple of trial games or 1 trial game just to see how we do actually work? Yes,
we have written to the Safety Advisory Group at Sefton Council and they're trying to work quickly with us. We're looking to get a friendly with 450 fans in and that'll be the middle of September, and we've got a decent friendly lined up for the end of September on the 26th. And we're trying to get 900 in for that based on the 2 trials that we have. I'll go on record, it's very disappointing that we can put everything in place for closed doors matches that aren't quite in place at low level when they've got fans, but yet we still can't have them. It kind of starts blowing my mind how they put these guidelines in place. You know, we have the infrastructure, we should be allowed fans, and currently we're not allowed them.
I think that's been very noticeable, James. We were commenting last night as we were, you know, you do feel here, even though it's been behind closed doors, the safety levels have been fantastic, haven't they?
And that we have to make sure that then carries on to when the fans are allowed in. Yeah. But how will we ever know if it can work if we aren't allowed a trial match?
Is there any changes to the protocols? Are we all up to date with everything on the website and nothing we need to update?
Yes,
or
we have
change?
submitted our stage 5 protocols. We're just waiting for approval for that, but obviously we need to know whether we can be allowed fans in. So we wrote our protocols, stage 3 and stage 5, almost the same. There's not much to change in them other than having the allocated seats for the fans in the main stand.
So if come the 3rd of October the government decide, right, you can have as many people in as you want, what happens then?
I hope that won't happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but for those who have allocated seats at the moment, we'd be asking them to stay in those allocated seats until the end of the season, and then they can have a fight online to get their old seats back as much as possible. But I don't think that's going to happen. I certainly hope it's not going to happen. In respect of the FA Cup and the FA Trophy, we will contact season ticket holders and members first to give them their seats. I would hope that everybody takes the same seats that they're already in. If you have a seated ticket, you will book another ticket for those games. It would have been too much heartache to go through at the moment to try to get that sorted for those games in terms of the online system, on the basis that max will play 6 games, no replays, and they probably all won't be at home either. Given our history, they'll probably be mostly away games in both competitions.
We're bound to get an away game in that FA Cup
always.
On the 3rd of October, aren't we? In other news, Everton under 23s, we've got some news there, haven't we?
Yes, I think we spoke about it before, but we've signed a contract to 2023 with them to keep the 23s here. We had a very successful meeting this morning with David Unsworth, and Nigel Bennett, their head of security, and some of their COVID compliance officers that they're working at the ground. They're more than happy with the match step-free protocols that we have, and that's what they're going to utilise for their games here. Slight changes in numbers that they have in certain sections, but they will start, hopefully their first game will be on the 19th of September. Sorry, that's complete wrong date, 21st of September, the Monday night is when they're going to start playing their games here.
Excellent. I know you don't like talking about team things really, but I'm sure, like all of us really, you can't fail to have been impressed with what you've seen so far. Very impressive last night, wasn't it? Yeah,
it's I think what a lot of people talk about is the attacking formation. We also went through a bit of that game last night where we were on the back foot for 15-20 minutes in the second half. If I think for the day I joined, there's a chance we'd have lost 2 goals in that period. We were defensively astute, we kept them out and then punished them straight away after it. We've got 3 or 4 players who look like every time they get the ball in the final third, look as if they're going to score. It's always difficult though with pre-season until you get up against the other teams in your league how you're going to fare. But if I compared last season's pre-season compared to this one, it's chalk and cheese. Certainly optimistic about it, and just hopefully we can get as many games on as possible.
Yeah. Well, we'll be catching up with Liam after the game at Norwich, so he's going to do a little update on the team things. But thanks for your time, and I'm sure you've had a busy few weeks, so well done.
Yeah, no, and we'll keep these interviews going. We need to get as much information out to fans as possible, and that's hopefully what these will serve to do.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.